one of the deepest examples of engagement of an online member is an online member is actually co-chair of the strategic planning committee this year.
Yeah.
And so they are figuring out, this group of members, what is this church going to look like and do and be in the next 5 to 10 years.
Thanks for being here for this episode of Tiny Pulpit Talks. We love to meet you. We want to hear more about you. So go ahead and subscribe, like us, do all those things, and consider leaving some reviews. If you are watching this in the podcast, go into your favorite podcast provider and just tell us what you think. We want to hear from you. So with us today to talk about something that is vitally important here in our community and in all of our lives is Sharon Thompson. And Sharon Thompson, what do you do here at the church?
Well, my title is Director of Membership and Hospitality, and I have the privilege of being one of the individuals to greet our guests when they first arrive here at the church, along with a whole host of volunteers engaged in that process. But I kind of help manage that process and work with them for us to be a welcoming place. And one of the things we're doing is referring to our newcomers here as guests, because it's like having a guest in our home, because this is our church home.
Now, one of the things I've noticed here is that people will have done a lot of research about the place very often before they come. Have you found that people have? Yes, you're nodding, so please go ahead. What's been your experience?
I have a wonderful story about that.
Oh, good.
I had a young lady, I was, close to the front door of the church in the parlor area, and she walked in, she talked to the greeters, went to the greeter table, first thing, checked in, got a name badge, and said, "I'm here to join the church." And so
we want more like you.
So they found me, and she says, "I'm here to join the church, and this is my first Sunday here." And I said, "Well, don't you want to take a little bit of time, to get to know us a little bit better?" And she said, "No, I have thoroughly researched you online, and I am here to join the church."
Beautiful.
Isn't that wonderful?
Yes. We are in a new era.
We're saying, well, hang on a minute, don't you?
Yeah.
Check us out a little more first. But no, she was here to do that and signed the book that very day.
That's great. Well, since you brought up membership and signing the book, what does that mean here? Like, I think some people think you go to a UU church and you just kind of believe what you want, you do what you want, and then that's it. But take us through what you talked about, a process in the book. Talk about what becoming a member at this church means.
Okay. Well, the bylaws state that membership process very clearly, and the defining act of membership, not just for this church, but for all UU churches, is signing the book of names.
Yeah.
And when I first came here, first time on staff, I'd been a member for about 3 years, I envisioned a closet somewhere full of membership books, because we've been here since 1899. And so it had to be a lot of books.
Yeah.
And I was very surprised to learn there's only 3 books. And we're on book number 3.
Okay.
And at different times in our church history, membership was different things. Like one of our ministers used to just put it out in the narthex and said, when you exit the sanctuary, if you want to join us, sign your book in the book of names.
Yeah.
I don't know how they kept up with how many members they had. But now, my goal is to have that process of becoming a member barrier-free, that we can be inclusive for everyone that wants to join the church, and that it's very open and easy to do that, because that defining act is signing the book. So we have a process where the second Sunday of each month, you and the other ministers issue that invitation from the pulpit, and anyone that's there that Sunday can just come down front afterwards and sign the book that day, which is kind of a solitary act, signing that book. And one of the things that is our hope for our new members is becoming a part of a community, and to become a part of building beloved community here. So community is not a solitary act, right? It's a group endeavor. So once they have joined the church and they are members, then we have 2 events for them. That's part of getting to know each other and part of being a part of the community. And one is an online, on Zoom, new member class with the ministers. You've been to many of those.
It's one of my
And
favorite things to do.
Get to know each other and share, what are our hopes, to hear from them why they join, what are their expectations of us, to correct anything that might be we can't do for them, but to encourage them and to share the stories about how we wound up here, which is very interesting. I love that part of it.
So many interesting journeys.
Yes, and it's online because we have online membership.
That's
too.
right.
So wherever you are in the world,
we love you, online members.
If you want to, be a member of this church, if you want this to be your church, it can be, and we will help you with that. So we have the new member class online on Zoom, so that our online and in-person members all get to be together and get to know each other. And then the next step is about once every 3 months, we have the in-community part, and it is a rose ceremony in the sanctuary on a Sunday morning when all the new members go down front, and it's a beautiful ceremony. The members of the church stand up and have something to say to them, to welcome them into this community, and to say that they are there to be support to them whenever they need that. And then the ministers do the rose blessing, which I love. It's very meaningful, and we encourage everybody, introverts, extroverts, doesn't matter. You're not going to be up there by yourself. You're going to be up there as a group, but to take part in that, becoming a part of this community, and let this community welcome you into it. And so we have that coming up on our 125th Sunday.
We have like 30 or 40 people?
Something, because we kind of skipped a quarter, so we have been saving for people to have the rose ceremony on that Sunday. It's going to be such a special occasion.
And we have people come from out of town to take part in it. Yep.
Last year we started a homecoming.
Yeah.
We're going to have it once a year.
We're going to have no. Oh,
no,
sorry.
we don't do mums.
Okay. You'll have to go to high school for that. Sorry.
Yeah. But you could wear a corsage if you want to.
Okay.
It might get you a boutonniere.
All right. Why not?
And this year we're having it on the 125th anniversary, 25th anniversary, because we thought our online members might want to, if they could be here for it, they can.
Yeah.
And we have, quite a few coming this year, and really looking forward to it. And then our new members will do the rose ceremony on that day.
So one of the things we talked about is our love of our online members and the ways we like to connect with them. One of the things I've noticed is more and more in meetings we're having at church and questions and strategies is, how are we engaging our online members with this? What is the way that people can connect? And I know we're really looking into how to do more of that, But for now, what is it that an online member can expect, and how does a member who maybe isn't here in the area, I like to think of them more as remote members. I don't know what the right word is. We use online, but I mean, they're members. I mean, many of our folks who aren't here in the DFW area are contributing, are giving, are leading groups. Can you say something about the engagement you've had with online members?
I can. I think one of the deepest examples of engagement of an online member is an online member is actually co-chair of the Strategic Planning Committee this year.
Yeah.
And so they are figuring out, this group of members, what is this church going to look like and do and be in the next 5 to 10 years. Very, very important role.
And that team is really good. I mean, the people on that team,
Right.
the love and the understanding and the brilliance, it's just awesome. Yeah.
And I have been forewarned, a huge component of that is going to be for our online members, engaging our online members. And we have so many hopes and plans and dreams for the future for our online members, as far as just what we can do, and new possibilities come up every day. For now, what our online members do is when they let me know, I mail them a card with a little sticker, and they sign it, and that sticker comes off and goes in the book.
Yep. So their names are in the book.
So their names are in the book, and they can sign that in that way. We have a lot of small groups, 48 something here at church, and we have a group just for our online members because their experiences are different, their needs are different, and part of what we do when we engage with that group is have them tell us, how are you connecting and what can we do better? Because they need to tell us, because I'm not online. So we meet with them. I meet with them on the first Sunday of every month after church on Zoom. And we do different things. We have ministers' chats. I think you've been
I've
to
been
one.
some.
And we had Grant Wareham, our new music director, pop in. So they get to meet in a Zoom room, which is much more intimate, and they get to have face-to-face engagement and ask questions to get to know the staff members of this church and just have some one-on-one time with them. And other things we do, sometimes we talk about connection a lot, and we do we run that like our small group ministry groups. We go through a check-in process that's liturgical in nature, and that just kind of sets the environment and helps us relax, get the outside world out, and be more deeply connected to one another. And we'll ask a question or share a question that they can respond to. Sometimes the question pertains to the sermon for that day. We also have an online coffee, and this is something, if you are live streaming our services, we want you to come to the coffee.
It's after both services.
It's after both services, so you can pop in, between the two and stay, usually 10-15 minutes, and we have different hosts for that. They are members of this church. Some of them are online members. One of our coffee hosts lives in Missouri, and it's just quite awesome that they can just be there and get to know you. It's one way to connect with a lot of commitment. So if you're not ready, to fully engage yet, you like live streaming, you kind of like that distance, pop into the online coffee one Sunday after church, and they've all been in your shoes, and you can stay 5 minutes or 10 minutes, and they do have a question that the ministers give us about the sermon that day, if you want to engage with that, and if you just want to pop in and say hi and say who you are, we'd love to have you. But the numbers for that are small, and so our biggest dilemma is we offer what we can, what we have the resources to offer, and then we see what kind of response we get. And if we don't get a huge response after we've been doing the online coffee for a year, then we question, is this the right way to connect with you? So if you don't do anything else, pop into the coffee and say, I live stream, and this is how I'd like to connect with church. Because you might have ideas that we don't have, that sitting here in Dallas in person we might not
that we can't
think
have.
of.
We want to hear from the people
It's not
that
our
are
experience.
exactly.
Right?
Yep.
And so we want to hear from you. So definitely do the online coffee and request a Realm account and fill out the visitor card so that we kind of know who you are, and request a Realm account and join that virtual online members. It's members and friends, so it's not just members, and get to know us a little bit better. We do live stream some of our classes that we can, and we are looking forward to, I think that's our probably area for biggest growth for the future. And that seems to be what our current members that connect with us online want, is more of the classes.
And so connecting is a really important question, and that brings us to this idea of some people will join and then it's like, well, where's the parade? Like where they didn't show up at my front door. And what do you tell people about getting connected, or what are some ways that people can move from joiner to like full-fledged member?
Okay. One of the beauties of our church is that everything's open to everyone. So you don't have to be a member yet to participate in our groups, our online groups. And I think there's two ways to get connected. One is through service, and one is through being a member of a small group. Whether it is one that focuses on spiritual practice, or whether it's we have one that they go to a play once a month. However you engage, you're going to get to know people from this church that you don't get to know any other way. Maybe they go to a different service or something like that. So the service is really important, because you can volunteer for your favorite nonprofit anytime, right? But if you go with a small group from this church to a nonprofit and you work at the food bank together for a few hours on a Saturday, you might not see them up close and personal, but you might see them across campus and you go, oh, I know them.
Yeah.
So there's that spark of connection that you get by serving together for a while. And of course, we have ushers and greeters. We have a coffee team here that would love to have our in-person members and friends join. And you can even teach Sunday school here.
Oh, yeah.
And not be a member. You get the training and you get the curriculum, and we have friends of this church that are very involved in that way. And then look for, so I'd say service, find a way to be of service. If you try something, it doesn't work out, try something else. There is just no shame in saying, nope, this isn't for me. And then try out some of our small groups, whether it's fellowship or whether it's spiritual connection, whichever you're more interested in at this point in time, do that. And visit it 2 or 3 times before you make a final decision, because the dynamics of the groups may be different each month that they meet, because the people that will be there will be different. So try it out, and if it's not for you, you can always let me know. I can get you out of the group. And that's probably the best way to get connected, is service and through our Connect groups.
Yeah, that's great. You do a lot here at the church.
I do, and I love every bit of it.
Me too.
Because it's working with all of the newcomers, new members, newcomers, new guests, checking us out, and I love that.
Good. Yeah, it's a joy to work with you and see it all work and come together. And one last thing, just Inquirers. Tell us what Inquirers is. And
okay. They didn't have Inquirers when I joined 14 years ago. And so that experience as a newcomer was quite different. But we have a class, and it meets every Sunday, almost every Sunday. We take a few holidays off, let our volunteers have off. We have a different facilitator every Sunday of the month, and we have a different presenter. So it is for our guests, and it is a safe place for you to come and be open and honest about, I'm church shopping, I'm not sure yet, I'm still a little bit afraid of this place, but each Sunday is a different topic. There's 8 different topics on one area of this church, and you get your questions answered. The ministers are in there. You're in there once a month, once a quarter, different minister every month, and you get to meet the leaders, staff of this church, and get your questions answered and learn about it in a safe environment. And you can be very, very honest about, I'm not sure about this, and just ask that question.
Yeah, we love the questions. Yeah.
We don't answer all of them.
No.
Particularly Q&A. Some of the big theological wrestling with questions, we will be by your side as you wrestle with it, but you get to decide on your own.
I always say, be cautious if someone can answer the enormous theological questions in 1 or 2 sentences. When they can do that, you should probably turn and walk the other way. That's just my personal opinion.
I agree with that opinion. I do. And that surprises people. And I think it surprises them about how open we are about, you know what, this may not be the place for you. And if it's not, tell us what's missing or what you're looking for. And our ministers will actually try to refer you to a church in the Dallas area if we can find one that we think might meet that. So we're very open about that, because our main goal for everyone that's here, whether you're joining us online or in person, is to meet your spiritual growth needs. And so we want to find what's right for you, whether what's right for you is a portion of what's here or whether it's somewhere else. Yeah. That's the most important thing to us.
Yeah, great. Well, thanks, Sharon. Thanks for taking the time out of your day and telling us all the wonderful things that you're doing. I know you do even more than we got to cover here, but it was a joy to have you. So thank you.
It was fun.
And to those of you, please like us, subscribe. Write down below if you have questions about connecting with the church. There's actually the link right below what you're watching right now to find out more, to log in and tell us you're interested, and you'll be introduced to this wonderful video pathway where you can learn a lot more about our church and start to engage. And also, if you're looking at this or watching this or listening to this in podcasts, go ahead and review us. Let us know what you think. And we're so glad you were with us for this episode of Tiny Pulpit Talks.
Yes.
We'll see you on Sunday. Bye.
Bye.